Okay, hi everybody. I'm David Grossman, and I oversee TV and entertainment content partnerships for Twitter Amplify. There's no presentation. For the next 30 minutes, you're just going to watch people walking. That's it. Tell me how you enjoy that. No, I'm kidding. So what I would like to do today is take you through kind of the evolution of video on Twitter, which is relatively new. It's about 2.5, 3 years old, and kind of tell you where we are and hopefully share some insights and learnings that are helpful as I take you on the journey that we've taken over the past couple of years and give you a little bit of a peek at where we think we're headed. So Twitter has always been a real-time conversational public platform, but real-time was this a couple of years ago. It was Carson Storch talking about some great stunt he did on the bike, and he might have thrown in a hashtag so people could join in the conversation and people could reply and favorite. But that's what real time was. And obviously there was something missing. And what was missing was the ability to give that first person, media forward, compelling view of what Carson was seeing and what Carson was talking about. So 2.5 years later, this is what you'll see on Twitter. I think we have good sound. Do we have? I think we have good sound on the, sound's not coming off the laptop. Any way to adjust that, or? No? Can everyone hear it from my mic? You can hear it? Okay, all right, so we don't have to worry about it. So we made this journey from here's Carson Storch talking about, I did this crazy trick, and people are like, yeah, well, sure you did, buddy, if you say so. It's just, you just wrote 140 characters about it, to here's this amazing first-hand video of what he did, when he did it, tweeted out in real time. So that's the journey we've been on, is how do we get from A to B over the past couple of years. As we've innovated, we've kept a couple of things in mind. Our unique strengths, what about our platform makes us special, what do we build on? First, we're mobile. So we're about 90% of our video views are on mobile. That was an important thing to take into account. We're live, things are happening in real time. People are not generally coming to Twitter to see what happened yesterday. They want to see what's happening now. They want to enter a real-time conversation. And it's social. We want to give people the ability to share a video, to now like, not favorite, to now like a tweet, to reply, to quote tweet. So those are the innovations we built on. And I'm going to show you a little timeline. I'm going to buzz through this piece because we get into each bit of this in more depth. And it should go without saying, please stop me at any time with questions, thoughts, comments, corrections. 2.5 years ago, video on Twitter was Vine. It's still a very important part of what we do, but we were limited to a handful of folks, relative handful, that could upload 6-second videos onto Twitter. In May 2013, Amplify launches, pairing premium content with advertisers, better serving our users in the process. Then we said, all right, well, it's great that we can connect Champ Sports with the NBA, but we're still sending a link to YouTube. That's fine, it works, but it's a lot of clicks. It's not media forward. You're not necessarily finding the stuff you like, not necessarily compelling user experience. So we launched our native video player, which led to one-click playback, full screen in landscape on mobile, and most recently, autoplay. Snappy TV. This has been a march towards ease of use for everybody involved in publishing and consumption of video on Twitter. So with Snappy TV, that was an eye mostly towards the content owners. How do they clip compelling videos, GIFs, images, and get it out to Twitter and, by the way, other social platforms really, really quickly and easily. Promoted video, we gave brands the ability through our native player to tell the story on Twitter that they want to tell. Mobile video, we allowed everybody to now be a creator and to publish and upload video, again, into this native player. Niche, partnering, we have these great video capabilities now. Now we take a group of creators and make the process of aligning them with brands and other content companies much simpler and more efficient. Periscope, everybody went from being a creator with the mobile video camera to now everybody being potentially a broadcaster, as we've seen compellingly in big events and small around the world over the past year or so. And Amplify Open. So Amplify, if you look on the bottom left, Amplify is now known as Amplify Custom. We have a new version of Amplify called Amplify Open, and I'll explain the difference there, who that's aiming to serve in a moment. So Vine, we'll start with Vine. So again, as I mentioned, Vine started about 2.5 years ago, and it was a lot of this. And this is great, by the way. If you have a hedgehog playing a piano, you can't go wrong with that. Everybody loves that. But then brands started taking a look at what was happening. And brands like Hewlett-Packard started doing some really cool stuff with Vines. And we were matching the brands with creators to do things like this that are really compelling and fun, but are also, by the way, demonstrating a functionality. They liked this so much, HP, that they commissioned a series of Vines and turned it into a TV ad. That's kind of the evolution of Vine. So in May 2013, Twitter Amplify comes around. And its simplest form, Amplify is basically taking content that airs on TV, now at a live event, at a sporting event. That tweet gets promoted by a brand from the publisher handle in real time to who the advertiser wants to reach. So in this case, you have the US Open and a tweet promoted by Heineken. And I'll show you some examples of this in a minute and the different applications of Amplify. The important thing to know is that we have about 200 publishers now, including networks, leagues, MCNs, and live event companies in about 20 countries. And speed of Amplify. So you know people are out there on Twitter talking about a game, about a show in real time. They were doing that way before video. And we know it's going to happen anyway. The love, the hate, the emotions, the predictions, it's all going to be there. But now what's happening with this video experience is we've given the publishers the tools to go put this great media forward experience there. Users have come to expect it. Brands can align with it. And the speed of use, this time to social and the speed of those clips getting out there and getting promoted by brands is nearly immediate with Amplify. So here you have Chris Palmer tweeting, Kawhi Leonard in the spin cycle, that was smooth. He just saw it on TV. 11:02, it's an Amplify tweet. The Kuwait storm erupts on TNT, promoted by Champ Sports. So that was about a 2-minute lag. It can happen much quicker than that now. And what you see is you see the, sorry, I'll show you one thing. You'll see like people like Alonzo Harris picking up on it, like, damn, that was quick. And so Amplify started out as really a thing for live sports. Brands are investing millions and millions of dollars in these rights, in the broadcast component of it, in the live venue component of it. And then we said, you know what, it all makes sense for sports. It might make sense for the Academy Awards or the VMAs, because 20 people will get into a war room and exchange 30 emails for something like that. They're not necessarily going to do it for one episode of Ellen, for a week on the Today Show, for a weekly clip of an episodic series, because it's still too hard. And everything we've done along the way has been sort of like snappy, like the native video player, has been, again, ease of use, ease of finding the video in a media-forward way, ease of getting the clip out there. And we've sort of seen Amplify explode, different executions around tentpoles, and lots more brands and ad verticals coming in, but also a lot of everyday stuff. So I'll show you a couple of examples. I don't want to play out the full examples in the interest of time, but I'll give you a sample. This is McDonald's, a co-branded custom creative around Univision's Premiere and Westeros. So think about what McDonald's is doing there. I worked at Univision, so I had the insight into it, but it's pretty much the same across the board in terms of the basics. McDonald's is a major investor in the on-air broadcast. They're also doing activations on site. They're doing integrations, maybe some kind of consumer tie-in. Now they have the ability through Amplify to take that, that sponsorship into social and mobile through our platform, reach who they want to reach, when they want to reach them. We broker the deal, we broker and we advise on the content and the targeting, of course. And when it is an award show, it's not always a highlight on air like you just saw with Premier Nuestro. This is Billboard Music Awards, and this is sponsored by AccuView, so a J&J brand. And sometimes it could be ancillary footage, behind the scenes footage, or a focus on different aspects, the fashion aspect of an award show, for example.
Last year's BBMA's red carpet was full of memorable moments, from blunt bangs to bright eyes. So let's take a look back at how your favorite celebs defined beauty in 2014.
So you see there was pre-roll, but that was on target for the brand in terms of the content that was put there. We extended then to ongoing series. And here's weekly blooper outtakes sponsored by Clorox. They call it bleachable moments, basically moments that you want to make disappear that happen on The Bachelorette.
The following Bachelorette bleachable moment has been rated N for...
Nailed it.
I can't believe I'm at this brand new hotel right at the... I can't believe I'm at this brand new hotel. I can't believe I'm at this brand... Why does your face make me
So it's funny. That's something that was right on point for Clorox. It was additive for a consumer because they're watching the show. You know there's some scripting, and you know there's that going on. You know it's a little bit of forced drama, but you're getting to kind of see how how the sauce is made, and the sausage. I think it's the sausage is the expression. You get to see how the sausage is made there, but in a really additive way if you're sitting there and fascinated by The Bachelorette in real time. Lip sync battle on Spike. This is a show that launched about 8 months ago. This show hasn't had an episode without an Amplify component. Smirnoff was in from the start, and then Dr. Pepper came in, and so there has not been an episode of this show since its inception that has not been amplified. So that's pretty simple. That's just a simple, quick highlight each week. Amplify is not always video, by the way. There'll be GIFs, there'll be images, there'll be vines, there can be audio cards. And when it is video, it may not always be pre-roll. It might be a branded integration that's happening for a brand, or it could be both. In an example like this.
Presidential Guard number 2. He died protecting our great nation from its deadliest aquatic foe, and for that, we are eternally indebted. Presidential Guard number 2 will be missed by his family, his country, and the remainder of his overpriced wireless contract. Total Wireless has no contract, so you don't pay for more than you need. Sharknado 3, oh hell no, continues next.
So that's kind of where we come in. And where the integrated marketing teams and the social teams at the partners come in. This is not going to work for the Democratic debate. This works perfectly in the context of Sharknado and this brand. We've also seen, this is again very simple execution, but in this case Zyrtec had an extensive sponsorship across all of the Thursday night Shonda Rhimes shows on ABC. Really highly social properties. We actually have a whole team at Twitter that works with the showrunners and the producers to make the shows more engaging and give more of a look outside of monetization and brands. So we've worked really closely with Shonda Rhimes. The shows are really social, big deals on Twitter. And in this case, you had Zyrtec saying, can I sponsor a night? Can I just sponsor the best of TGIT? And they ran a promotion around this. This was a Grey's Anatomy tweet, but there were also scandal on how to get away with murder.
With a season like this, no one can predict what happens next. The Grey's Anatomy season finale, next Thursday on ABC.
And I mentioned Amplify is not just video. So this is a GIF. This is actually the first branded GIF that ever ran within an Amplify campaign. And this is interesting because it's kind of like what's happening now with Periscope on Twitter We develop a product, we acquire a company, and we say, all right, well, we're going to get the user experience right, then we're going to create an ad unit around it, and we're going to start monetizing it. And what inevitably happens is a brand, a content owner, some creative genius on a social team will go out there and say, this is how I think we're going to do it. And we've seen some amazing things develop. So we don't have a product. We don't have an actual product right now. We're working on it to brand a GIF with an Amplify campaign. MTV went and did this themselves around the MTV Movie Awards in partnership with Revlon within an Amplify campaign. So that's it. Just to pause for a second, any questions on anything I've showed so far, anything on Amplify? Cool. So let's go to native video. Again, this was really all about making the user experience better and putting great video and images, GIFs too, Vines, front and center. So the videos I've been showing you have been, I've been clicking on them, but we're in an autoplay world now. So what you see, the user experience for Amplify now is you'll see a brief thumbnail of the content, and in Amplify, the video is coming from the partner handle, so Scandal, NFL, whatever it might be. So you'll see the handle, you'll see a thumbnail of the content, so you'll have a signal of what's coming. It gets 100% into view. It begins auto-playing the pre-roll on mute. The charge point for the brand is either 3 seconds on mute or a click, whichever comes first. We limit the pre-roll when there is pre-roll in Amplify to 6 seconds right now. We may test skippable down the road, and then it goes right into the content. So other things that we do now with our native player, there's opportunities like video docking.
No pressure at
Where
all.
you can just
very focused
swipe the video down
going in there
on
and
the
then
screen
have one goal
and keep scrolling.
That's to win.
Call to action in the video to watch a stream, to watch a broadcast, to view more videos. But I would say that autoplay has been the biggest thing there. We're seeing cost per views come down. We're seeing engagement rates and view rates go up. And it's been a real boon from an Amplify perspective also. So Snappy TV, I mentioned. How many people in the room are familiar with Snappy, their capabilities? Okay. So Snappy really, this is an example of really serving the publishers well and really minimizing time to social. We know that the ability, the amount of, all things equal, the amount of engagement, retweeting and so forth we're going to see around a tweet is maximized when that tweet goes out in the first couple of minutes. When it goes out 5, 10, 15, even 20 minutes later, we're going to see a significant drop-off in the engagement there and way less relevance for a Twitter user. So Snappy TV is ingesting a stream like this, in an interface like this, and allowing for immediate tweets like this. In this case, it was a MotoGP Amplify tweet, but often it's not Amplify. We have a lot of content partners that are just using us as the backbone of everything they do, be it Amplify or not. Amplify might just be a small part of it all. Promoted videos. So we took our native tools, we took the media forward experience, and we started letting brands tell the stories that they wanted to tell. It's not for every brand. Some brands may stick with images, they may stick with text, they may do polling, they may do largely Amplify, but there are a lot of brands and they're getting better at it because they have to in this world every day of telling their own great stories. In this case, it's Budweiser, but we've seen it with a ton of brands. Again, autoplay, similar charge point for advertisers.
We were made for love. A lifetime is not long enough to show you what you mean to me. Ooh, I'll be waiting here for you when you come home.
That doesn't normally happen. I don't know why it stopped, but that kept going. And it's a great story. A lot of you may have seen that. But when it works, it puts a lot of onus on the brand. But we're giving them the distribution. We're giving them the great user experience. We're putting a lot of onus on them to tell their stories. But when it works, it's amazing. In this case, the Budweiser video, 2.5 million video views in the first week, 6-to-1 earned to paid ratio, which is tremendous, and a huge lift in positive sentiment and mentions around Budweiser after the campaign versus before on Twitter. And we're seeing it across all different categories, across B2B, QSR, across Alc Bev, retail, automotive, and others. And this was from like the first few weeks, this slide. It's been utilized really a lot. We're really happy with where it's headed. So I talked about promoted video. I talked about Amplify and some other things. I want to just quickly pause and do a side-by-side because it confuses everybody, even still me and our team on a bad day. If you look on the left, that's Amplify. It's a tweet from the US Open handle, promoted by Heineken, to who Heineken wants to reach with official content. If you look on the right, Heineken, obviously a big sponsor of the US Open, beyond Amplify, beyond just television and other digital properties. So Heineken also wants to go out there and have content for their own handles to drive engagement, to hopefully boost followers and to further their association with this important investment for them. So they'll tell their own stories from their own angles. Whoop.
It's out. Quietly. Greatest day.
How would you feel about sitting up in that chair and quieting all of these people?
So what I love about this example is you see how Heineken is accomplishing two very different things, but in a way that's just great for the user. If you're like tennis and you're engaged in the match, you want to see the replay, but also if you're a fan, if you have been to the US Open or a tournament like that, you love the crowd and the spectacle and the shopping and the technology and everything that goes around it. So it's really fun, and that's a story that the US Open, it may not tell, or it may not be what Heineken chooses to promote from the US Open handle when they have a limited amount of content and money to do that. But then they go and they tell their own stories at the same time and complement that. So Periscope. Periscope is pretty new. This is actually what happened. If there's any New Yorkers in the crowd, this is what happened on day one. This was, it was interesting, a tragedy, but on day one there was a fire on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and like the day before, it was like 50 of us at the Twitter offices streaming that we just each ate a sandwich, and the CEO of Twitter was like watching us eat our sandwiches because we were all just dog fooding it. And then the next day we start seeing the power of it, and we've seen the power of it. Unfortunately, we've seen it recently in some real horrible ways, compelling but horrible. But it's been interesting to see what happens with brands and how pop culture, on a much lighter note, have picked up on the power of Periscope. And the big opportunity and challenge for us on this front is to see how brands and broadcasters continue to integrate it. So one thing we know we have to do is get Periscope into a more media-forward, instantaneous experience on Twitter. But there's also another experience with brands. Like, we don't have a Periscope ad product now. A lot of brands have done factory tours, cars coming off the lot, red carpet premieres and things like that. So they've done their branding and they've used Periscope. But Amplify, we're like, hey, we got to come up with a Periscope product at some point for Amplify. And then you had brands like Verizon and Taco Bell around the VMAs saying, well, we'll do an image tweet. We'll tell users that we're going to go live on Periscope from the red carpet in 3 days at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then afterwards, we'll clip some of it up and we'll do recaps of the different Q&As that happen. So we're starting to see those things develop organically on their own. More and more you'll see with a bit of an assist from us, I think. A fun little clip on how it has seeped into pop culture from day one.
You want to dance? Really? Play some music. What kind of music? Go!
So the Amplify open beta. So Amplify Custom was just Amplify, just like Coke Classic was just Coke. And I don't like to use the example because New Coke sucked. This beta is going gangbusters, fortunately. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to give brands a way. We wanted to get, for our purposes and for user purposes, we wanted to get more great video on the platform. So anything we could do to incent that, to get great video on the platform in a compelling way for users is great for Twitter, great for our users, of course. But what we wanted to do with Amplify Open was also allow brands to align with more video in a pre-roll format, in a targeted way, but free them up from that need to have that one-on-one association with the publisher and to do that manual brokering. So sometimes that's still essential. So let's say you have a brand like Taco Bell. Taco Bell makes a big investment in the VMAs on MTV. Taco Bell will always want to say, could be Verizon, could be Sprint, could be Samsung, but that brand that's made that big investment in the VMAs will always want to say, hey, I want to have my segment from the red carpet, or red carpet footage generally, be what we feature. Or a beauty brand might say, we're not so much interested in the music angle, we want to cover more of the fashion angle. So you'll have things like that where, and those brands will say, we want to really play upon this aspect of our sponsorship, and we want 8 tweets, and we want them at this time, and we want them from this handle. And that's Amplify Custom. That's as it's always existed, and it's gotten better and easier, and for the reasons I've hopefully shown you guys. But let's say you're Taco Bell, and you say, all right, well, we love the VMAs. That's a great sponsorship for us. We also just want to be part of the music and pop culture and teen conversation that's happening on Twitter, but reach people watching videos on those topics and that fit that target during the month of August. Okay, so you have the VMAs, Amplify Custom, if you so choose, but then you have the ability to go say, I just want to I want to target pre-roll against the organic viewers, various handles, whatever publishers have elected to publish at that moment. And the way it works is publishers are, let me show you a little visual. First of all, here's an actual campaign from NutriBullet. So you'll see pre-roll reaching across various handles. These are the organic followers of FS1, of Nat Geo, BuzzFeed, and now this. So I think just to catch, so you see that again. 6-second pre-roll for NutriBullet, followed by videos. And what these publishers have done, and this launched about a month ago, is these publishers were publishing these tweets organically. They've clicked a button that said, elect to monetize this video. They've self-defined the video based on tier 1 IAB categories. So I'm forgetting the exact names, but like business and marketing, politics, arts and entertainment. And the publishers may have blacklisted some brands. They may have said, well, even though you're selling it blind, Twitter, we have such a big partnership with Target, we don't want even the chance of a Walmart video to run against it and have any backlash. So they may blacklist Walmart. Or if they have Target, they may blacklist everybody in the retail category aside from Target. And then they're letting that video get monetized, and we're sharing revenue back to them. So the 2 versions of Amplify that I mentioned, on top is the new beta that I'm talking about now. An advertiser selects content categories and audiences to target. Boom, boom, boom. The ads are served against publishers' organic videos. And that, again, frees you up from the publisher one-on-one relationship, lets you have an always-on strategy, targeting who you want to reach, targeting people watching videos that are relevant or that you believe will be relevant from a brand's perspective. The bottom half, Amplify as it's always existed, now Amplify Custom, you have a sponsorship deal with a publisher. It's more one-to-one, custom, handheld, and bespoke. And that content is tweeted, and that's a promoted tweet. So where in the beta, you're reaching the organic viewers of a video, and you're picking the targeting and the buckets and the content categories. In this case, it's traditional Amplify. You can target whoever you want as the brand and promote that video to whoever you want. So these are the brands, the publishers, that signed up for this beta, which went live on October 8th. And we're in the process of ramping up to hopefully 100 brands before it goes wider. So we're really, really excited about this. We see it living nicely alongside traditional Amplify, getting more video on the platform for users, more revenue, obviously, to Twitter, more videos on Twitter, and serving the needs of publishers and allowing them to monetize and distribute their content in a broader way. So to bring it all together, our innovations, and hopefully we've done a good job of this, and I think it's still a work in progress. We've tried to innovate based on our strengths. We know what we are, we think we know what we're not, but we've tried to really focus on being the best mobile, live, and social platform we can be as we made these video enhancements. And it's just a in conclusion, little factoid, couple of factoids here. We see attention shifting to Twitter during live moments. So we know, as I mentioned at the beginning, conversation shifts, people are talking about events as they're happening. So just to kind of reinforce that on the way out. Around events like the Oscars, you'll see digital traffic may increase in most cases, not all, but the blue bars are Twitter. So we see a disproportionate surge in attention to Twitter during these key moments. And some of the numbers are pretty significant. Last season's finale of Empire, we had 500,000 authors publishing 2.4 million tweets and 112 million impressions. And I think this was the 2014 VMA. Actually, sorry, these are the 2015 VMAs. I apologize. 2.2 million authors, 21.4 million tweets, and nearly 700 million impressions. And that's it. I'm going back to the people walking. Thank you. And any questions, thoughts? Sure? It's not end of life, but I do think you'll see some of the functionality migrate over to Twitter's native player, where it makes sense. I can't speak to exactly how and when, A, because it's not my area of expertise, and B, I don't think we were supposed to be anyway, but definitely not end of life. Just where we can make it easier and simpler and make the publishing experience easier and scale it, we'll do it. Good question, though. Anybody else? Michael.
Thank you very kindly. Is one of your selects influencers by category? You identified that you can do things, by the tier 1 IAB, categories like business or whatever. There was a lot of, fluff about clout, and cred, and various, measure your social influence stuff. Is that one of the selects? You can get influential people within your category on Amplify?
Well, right now, so we're still kind of scaling up, right? So we have the biggest challenge we have is you have about 140 publishers in the beta. Like I said, about 80 are publishing, and they're not publishing every day. And then you have about 25 brands. So we're still in the process of making a market. Right now, the ways you can target the 23 buckets, and then you can layer on additional Twitter targeting. But that's any Twitter targeting we have already. So interest, keywords, ad handle targeting, geo, device, language, and so forth. Does that help?
Absolutely, it helps. And could you also lay out for us how Twitter works with an entity like the U.S. Open or the VMAs, and how are those deals structured? Are you guys going to market together to brands?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it tends to be a co-sale with so we have about 200 partners, like I mentioned. The standard co-sales agreement we have is essentially the same. It basically says that it's a lightweight agreement with content producers. It's aside from the actual language, like Japanese and Japan language, English in the U.S. language, not legal language. It's basically the same agreement. It basically just lays out, if we're going to do business together, these are the things we have to figure out in each case. In each case, we have to figure out who's going to lead the sale. Viacom with the VMAs, do you want to lead the sale? You probably do. Can we bring you inbound leads? Great. One thing, though, that we've done, so when I first got to Twitter, there were about 8,000 things I didn't know and still are. But one thing I did know coming from the TV world was that every content owner does deals differently and needs to win differently. Some are sold out of their digital video inventory or display inventory. Some are sold out of television ads. Some need to package late night with prime time or whatever, or they want to get a foot in the door digitally where they may not have it. So when Amplify started, it's a long-winded answer, but when Amplify started, it was very much a 50-50 model. Let's say, just make it out an example up, Show X. You bought 250,000 in promoted tweets on Twitter. The brand had to spend, and the network had to ask for $250,000 in either a fee or matching media. from the partner. That had the benefit of simplicity, of like everybody understanding what the ask was. It had no other benefits. It didn't recognize that everybody needed to win differently and that we could win in a lot of different ways. So what I did was say, I don't care how much money the content partners make. I care that they make money. I don't care how much it is. If they can make 20 times more than us, great. If they want to give it away, if they want to give away the key to Amplify and let a brand just pay us because that's fitting some other need on their end, it's fixing a relationship, or it's getting them in the door on a piece of business, or whatever it might be, or getting a meeting even, something intangible, or helping with a CPM conversation. We don't care. So we've freed the constraints between brands and agencies and content owners on one hand to go do a negotiation that works for them. We still charge for promoted tweets, no more or less, all things equal, than any other promoted tweet. And yes, generally a co-sale, but if I had to generalize even more, I would say in 90% of the time, the content partners want to lead the sale because they're bundling it into something bigger. That'll probably change a little bit because I think a lot of the growth for us going forward, I still see growth with the sports leagues and I still see growth with TV networks, even if we didn't change the essential model. But I do think if we want to get into the business of Amplify working at a big scale for pay TV, for OTT, for movie studios, then we're going to need a little bit of a different model there. We'll need to control the sale. It would probably have to be some kind of more plug-and-play rev share type of model. But that's the essentials. Anything else? Cool. I think I'm the lead into beer, so have fun. Thank you.